Hola guys and girls, and welcome to my draft analysis for GBA Season 8. Yes, we finally starting this season. The draft is over. I hope you did enjoy the draft stream. It was a blast for me, but either way, let's go into the meat of this video, which is of course what I drafted and why I drafted it. Before I go into that, of course, we are going back to tiering in this season, and if you have no idea what that means and how the tiering works, what the tiers are, what the 3 points mean, all this good stuff, there is a video on the GBA channel explaining all of that, including how the ban list, how the Z budget works, all of that. Link for that will be in the description. So if you have no idea how a GBA draft works, watch that first and then come back to this video, because I'm not explaining anything. I'm a lazy bum. But so to go into this draft, I of course was at the end. I was the 16th pick, so I had the wheel, but I had the back wheel, and that of course means that for once I have the benefit of having the wheel, which I like a lot, which means you basically get 2 months in a row, or which means you get 2 months in a row, not only basically. So you can easier build costs, stuff like that. But because you're one of the end wheel, that means a huge amount of picks. The maximum amount of picks is actually between you and your next round, and that means snipes are gonna happen. They're gonna happen. You can't prevent that. So my drafting style of not really having a full-on draft plan, like having all 11 months planned out and stuff like that, I usually don't have that. I usually just know which, like 1 or 2 months which I want, and then I just draft accordingly depending on what happens. So that suits me a lot. But yeah, a lot of snipes happen for me in this draft. I'm not going to go too much in detail because like every round, like at least 1 or 2 months I wanted were gone. So basically I'm not talking about snipes, I'm just talking about the mons you see right here. So going into the first pick, the first pick in my opinion should always be something that terrifies your opponent. Your opponent looks at that mon and says, shit, how do I beat this? Or just shit, I lose to this. Either way, it has to be big, it has to be scary, and what better mon you can pick there than Kyurem Black. Actually a first time of me drafting Kyurem Black. That's going to be a theme overall in this draft. I always like to draft something new, and this time I actually draft a lot of fun stuff. Like, I didn't go the safe route as often as more the fun route in this season of the GBA, but Kyurem Black, of course, you see on screen right now, insane stat. I think the highest base stat total, which is legal still in the GBA with 125 HP, which is insane. So that's what I like about Kyurem Black. The offense, of course, is the big factor of Kyurem Black. The attack stat 170, that's like one of the highest attack stats a non-Megamon can have. Special attack 120, still very respectable, even though it's a second highest offensive stat. Speed, kind of lacking with 95, so Kyurem Black is not a sweeper, it's more of a wall breaker. But what a wall breaker it is, had insane coverage, or it has insane coverage going mixed. It sadly doesn't have the coverage to be like a pure special attacker or pure physical attacker. Usually you always run mixed Kyurem because you want to run Fusion Bolt with your Ice Beam, you want to have Earth Power with your Dragon Claw, or you want to have some hidden power, something like that. So mixed attacking is where Kyurem Black excels. And I like that a lot with my mons. My opponent can't really have like a dedicated wall for this thing. He usually has to choose multiple mons to be able to deal with this thing or switching into this thing, which some mons can't even do at all. Ability is very nice. Terrible, just being a fancy mold breaker. It basically means I can Ice Beam Mega Venusaurs, ignoring fix that. I can Earth Power Levitating mons, all this good stuff. Kyurem Black, he's big, he's scary, and yeah, I'm looking forward to using that guy. Next up is the second round pick is for me always more of a support pick. Basically, first you have a big scary mon, then you have the mon which supports it in various ways. And the mon I decided to support my Kyurem Black with is Tapu Fini. I wanted one of the water fairies, and Tapu Fini is the best one which was available at the time. It gives me a defogger, so of course Kyurem Black has the rocks weakness, which I can yeah, basically help out with the defogger in Tapu Fini. It starts building my Fairy, Dragon, Steel core. The good thing with Tapu Fini is because it's Water Fairy, it's actually not weak to Steel, which would be annoying since Kyurem Black already is weak to Steel, so I don't want my core too weak to one typing. So that is awesome. It covers the Dragon weakness of Kyurem. It covers does it cover other weakness of, yeah, the fighting weakness of Kyurem as well. And the one other good thing actually is the Misty Terrain. I gotta say, Misty Surge or Misty Terrain is a rather double-edged sword together with Kyurem Black, because on the one hand, of course, my dragon attacks are weakened from Kyurem versus opposing mons, which are grounded. But to be fair, Kyurem usually doesn't rely too much on its Dragon stat. Dragon Claw is always nice to run if you just want to nuke something, but it doesn't rely on it too much. And on the other hand, opposing Dragon types do only half damage to me as well, which would be super effective versus Kyurem, but now it's only neutral damage, which can be very nice versus opposing dragons, which I can just then Ice Beam, which is of course not nerfed. And of course there are a lot of levitating dragons, Lali Twins, all this good stuff. So yeah, it is kind of double-edged sword, I agree, but it's still very nice, helping out Kyurem Black defensively as well. Of course, statuses are not a problem as well with that. Finny, and overall, let's talk about the Finny. So far I just talked about the synergy with Kyurem Black. Of course, having insane defensive stats, a nice supportive move pool with Native Madness, Taunt, Defog. I mean, these are the main ones. Knockoff, and then of course, Whirlpool Trapping, all this good stuff Finny can do. Mainly, it's a more defensive mod, either physically defensive or special defensive, what you want to do, but it can of course be offensive as well. 95 special attack set is very nice. Sadly, Misty Terrain is the only terrain which doesn't boost its typing. Like, I would love Misty Terrain would like boost fire moves by 50%, like Grassy, Electric, Psychic Terrain do. But sadly, we only, quote unquote, only got the dragon reducing effect with that. But either way, Calm Mind Finny is still a huge problem for a lot of teams that has all the coverage it needs in Water, Ice plus Fairy move, and then like a Hidden Power or Nature's Madness or something like that, or Knockoff for more utility. But the main reason, of course, Finny is here is to be a sponge, to defog, to taunt some stuff, to wall break together with Kyurem, and all this good stuff. So, going with the next wheel, one thing I wanted very early on, I knew I wanted. First of all, I need a Stealth Rocker, and second of all, I need an Electric Immunity, and what does both of that is, of course, a Ground type. So I want to have a good Ground type next off, and I decided to go with Crocodile, one of the mons I always want in the draft, but never actually can get, because usually it goes very early, other mons get it beforehand. I prioritize other mons before that, and then it's gone, but this time I prioritized my Ground type highly, so I was able to get the the Ground Dark type, which is Crocodile. Crocodile, very nice, of course, mainly only physically attacking. It has some special moves like Sludge Bomb and stuff like that, so you can do some fancy stuff with that, but it's mainly physically attacking. The good thing though with Crocodile is, of course, in addition to being Ground type, it is a Dark type as well, so I can knock off, I can Pursue Trap other mons, and it has the chance to go defensive as well with the nice ability in Intimidate. Moxie, of course, is very nice for sweeping compatibilities if you want to be like Scarf and then just spam Earthquake or Knockoff if the opponent has a Dark or Ground weak team. That is very nice. And it still has the bulk to be bulky with Intimidate, like be it physically defensive. You can even run the most Bedef variant with Assault Vest or just Bedef investment if you want to have this check the electric type of the opponent. But I love Crocodile, and finally I am able to use it. So yeah, it has some more support roles with Taunt as well, potentially, and of course it has the Stealth Rocks, which I wanted. It's a more offensive Stealth Rocker if I'm not running defenses, so I definitely wanted to have a second Stealth Rocker as well. And for that, of course, you need your Steel type to round out my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. So I decided to get my Steel type next, which is none other than Cobalion. Cabra is back! If you remember him from GBA Season 5, I think it was, in which I got the Cobalion as well. Very nice Steel type, very fast Steel type. Not many Steel types are able to be that fast. It has Taunt as well, so I already have 3 Taunters on the team. Wolf Switch Momentum is very nice. It has nice support options in Thunder Wave, Stealth Rocks, of course. Grasping some momentum. It can be offensive as well, gets Sword Stance, gets Calm Mind, and of course it can be mixed attacking, which I like very, very much on my mons with 90 attack, which of course are not that impressive, I gotta say. But with setup, it can still be a scale sweeper. Like Crimson already showed it last season how much of a sweeper Cobalion can potentially be. Steel fighting typing is very nice. It's very nice because the only thing or the best thing to resist a fighting type are Fairy types currently, and with Steel typing I can just hit them with Iron Head, and they are not too much of a bother anymore. Either way, Cobalion, very nice mon. And now Stealth Rocker. So Stealth Rocks I've checked, has a removal I've checked, I have my Fairy Dragon Steel Core checked, so what I can try to build next is my Water Grass Core, because I don't really think Water Fire Grass Core is what you really need. Like Fire typing, I already talked about in our draft analysis, Fire typing doesn't really add too much. Like Fire typing, like I get that like Grass and Water cover the weakness of Fire in like the Water weakness and the Ground weakness in the Grass type. But on the other way around, the only thing that that Fire covers is the Bug weakness of Grass, and that's all, and the Ice weakness of Grass. But that is already covered by Water, so I don't really see that defensive-wise, Fire, Water, Grass core is really needed. Water, Grass already cover each other very nicely. The only thing they don't cover each other are Bug and Flying types. Flying types aren't covered at all by the trio of Fire, Water, Grass, and Bug types you potentially get with Fire typing, but Bug types are not too much of the offensive threat, usually because Bug is resisted by a lot of typings. So that's why I think if you want to have a bulky core, it's usually Grass and Water. You see that in a lot of my drafts that actually don't have a Fire type or not a defensive Fire type. But either way, I decide I want to get my Grass type next. And looking at the mons on the board, I had to get my Mega next as well. So the next mons on my list were my Mega and my Grass type. And we start off with the Mega here on my analysis, which is Mega Absol. Mega Emo is back as well from my favorite team in the GBA so far, together with Cabra. They formed a very nice team already. I know I'm doubling down on Dark types now with Crocodile, which can be potentially a problem. It's like two of my offensive mons are both Dark types. And to be fair, Mega Absol was not my first choice on being my Mega, because my first Mega choices all got sniped. But like I said, I don't want to talk too much about snipes. We just talk about what my draft right here is. Mega Absol, I love Mega Absol. It's like the only downside I see on my draft potentially is that I'm too Dark heavy with Crocodile and Absol, which are both mostly physically attacking with their Dark Step. And if they have like a physically defensive Fairy type, they can potentially check both and all this good stuff. But either way, Mega Absol is a great Mega. First of all, the new buff that the speed counts immediately is huge for Absol, because before Mega Evolving it has a middling speed set of 80, but now I can immediately have the 115. Usually I had to rely on Sucker Punch on the turn I Mega Evolve to basically not lose out on, to not get outsped by something and killed on the turn I want to Mega Evolve. Having that is a huge buff to a Mega Absol. Of course, it has the magic bounce, so it's very nice versus mons which are more passive and like want to burn it or something like that. Of course, Mega Absol does not have the best defensive stats, so it's gonna be a problem. But the main thing Absol has, which I love, is an insane move pool and a nice special attack set to complement that. Of course, the 150 attack stat is the highest one of it all, but 115 special attack set allows it to run all the special move it wants if the opponent has a weakness in that, be it Ice Beam, be it Fire Blast, be it Thunderbolt, all this good stuff Mega Absol has in its arsenal, together with, of course, the main Dark Step moves in like Pursuit, Knockoff, Sucker Punch. I have 2 Pursuit Trappers now, so Psychic types, look out on that. But Mega Absol gives me some nice speed. My team is decently speedy, I want to say. Like, my slowest monster far is Tapu Fini, but on the high end of speed, I only have Cobalion with 108, and you definitely want at least one mon which is over 110 speed, which is like, in my opinion, the border you want to reach with your high speed mons. So if you only have mons lower than 110, I would consider your draft a slow draft. But either way, we have Mega Absol, which is now higher than that, thankfully. Insane coverage. You already know what Mega Emo can do. I did show that in the GBA season before. Adraf actually did show it in this last league as well. So yeah, we are going to continue that trend and give Mega Emo another try. Another plus is, of course, that it's a tier 2 Mega, so actually gain some points by drafting it, which allows me to get some more higher tier or higher quality mons in the later rounds. And one high quality mon I'm getting next is, of course, Shaman. Like I said, I want to get my Grass type next. Shaman was not my first choice, once again. Like, many mons weren't my first choice, but Sanic is still an insanely good mon. 100 overall stats is very nice. Offensive-wise, defensive-wise, it can do all the roles. All the roles. The move pool is very nice as well, giving access to Earth Power, which not too many Grass types have. Seed Flare is, of course, a hugely good, no, a very good a signature move, having the chance to drop this Bidef by 2, which basically makes nothing resist anymore. So the Shaman is going to be able to, yeah, drop some damage on some mons, in addition to being a aromatherapy user with Natural Cure, which doesn't care about statusing himself. Has access to Healing Wish, has access to Leech Seed, a very nice defensive Grass type, and potentially even offensive Grass types. So that is very nice. Sadly, it's lacking a bit on the physical side, even though it has the potential for like physical attacking with 100 attack set and access to Sword Stance. The coverage it gets on the physical side is very limited, so most of the time you will just see Shaman as a special attacker. But of course, the potential is there for some physical damage. But yeah, Sanic is a returning member for the Borussia Donphan as well. Actually, don't think I had it in the GBA before. Yeah, I remember. I had it in GBA before. It did well for me as well. I loved the time I had used it as an assault member versus Tom, where it just dismantled his team on its own. So yeah, even though it has a tiny back, it's gonna put its team on its back, and I'm looking forward to that. So now that I have my defensive core of Tapu Fini and Shaman finished. Shaman, of course, very nice to deal with electric types as well. My team was looking a bit electric weak, so I'm happy to get that. But one thing I want to get is more hazard removal. So far, my only hazard removal is Tapu Fini. And I don't want Tapu Fini to be a defogger every time. I want to be able to run Calm Mind with some coverage moves and all this good stuff. But I don't rely on Tapu Fini defogging every time. So the next 2 picks are actually going to be some some hazard removal picks. First off, I decided to get Komala, which actually gives me access to Rapid Spin as well. So I do not have to rely on defog. If I want to, I can keep my own hazards up and just Rapid Spinning. In addition, Komala is a very fun one. It's a more fun one I want to try out as well. Comatose, a very good ability, making it immune to status and having it sleep all the time. Gives some other perks as well, which I'm not going to talk about here because some might surprise some people. But basically, it's immune to status, it's a Wish Passer, it's a Rapid Spinner, it has one of the strongest Rapid Spins in the game, being Stab on 115 attack set, has some very nice coverage. It got knockoff this through the move tutors, so it's not easily Rapid Spin blocked anymore. Form Ghost types, actually has a move to hit those. It has U-turn, it has the potential to be very specially bulky, so yeah, once again I have the potential to be more defensive with Komala and more offensive, because 115 attack set is a very nice attack set. It gets access to Sucker Punch, so even though it's pretty slow with 65, I can hit some stuff with my priority moves. So yeah, main reason I want to have Komala is because I wanted to have a Rapid Spinner, and Komala was the most fun one, most lovable one I could get in the lower tiers. And next up, my second hazard mover is actually not his main mission, it's not really hazard moving. His main mission is to be more of a utility and sweeping one, which is Tornadus Eye. It got defog through the move tutors and defog. Prankster defog is very nice. It has Pranksters Defiant as well, with a very nice mixed special attacking set. 115 attack, 125 special attack, 111 speed, so I have once again a second mon over the magic 110 speed number, so I don't have to rely on Absol all the time to outspeed my opponent's mons. An insane move pool. I already had Tornadus before in the league, in the GBA as well, and it did amazingly well for me. On both sides on the spectrum, it has very nice coverage, be it Superpower, be it Hurricane, be it Heat Wave, be it U-turn, be it Sludge Wave, be it Psychic, Rock Slide, Rock Slide? I actually don't know if it gets Rock Slide, I don't think so. But yeah, insane, what you call it, potential there. It has the potential to set up with bulk up. It can be a more annoying set with Prankster Taunt, Prankster Rain, Weather. I don't have a rain sweeping team, but if I want to set up the rain for my own Hurricanes, that's nice as well. And the new berries, of course, are a nice buff to Tornadus as well. Last time I had Tornadus, I already tried like a bulk up berry set with Prankster substitute, so I can like use acrobatics, because sadly that's the best physical flying move it gets. It gets fly as well. And that's of course a 2-turn move, so if you want to have a flying stab, you mostly are relying on Air Slash and Hurricane. But either way, these berries are nice buff to Tornadus as well, and of course it's a defogger. So now I have like a 2 more offensive slash defensive defoggers and 1 straight offensive defogger in Tornadus, which is very nice. If I really dire to get rid of hazards, I can just send in Tornadus, Prankster defog, boom, they are gone. And in addition to that, it's a huge offensive powerhouse, so I'm looking forward to using that again. And next up, I decided I wanted a Mon. It was the Mon, basically I decided right before the draft already that I wanted this Mon, and I thought now it's time to get it finally. And that Mon is the Mon I was looking forward so long to use in draft format, but one thing was always holding it down, and this thing is not as big anymore through the new move tutors. And the Mon I got next is Yanmega. Yanmega, of course, the thing which is holding it back is the 4x rock weakness, but with so many new tutors, or so many more defoggers, better said, the 4x rock weakness is not that big of a deal anymore, and that's why I think Yanmega finally has his time to shine. Speed boost, Frisk, Tinted Lens, 3 amazing abilities. Frisk, of course, being the lesser used one out of the 2, but it can still be very nice versus in the draft league, scouting the item, if it likes the damage reduction berry, if it's a scarf, if it's a specs. Scouting in draft league, I think, is more important than standard play. And that's where Frisk comes into play. But of course, Tinted Lens and Speed Boost are the prime abilities. Either want to be a Wall Breaker with Tinted Lens, basically reducing resisting mons to only taking the hits neutral, so they don't wall Yanmega as good anymore. Or Speed Boost if you just want to straight sweep some teams. Yanmega always lower tier because of the 4x rock weakness. But like I said already, that's not too big of a deal anymore. I think I have 3 good hazard remover in Tornadus, in Tapu Fini, and Commander to support this Mon to make it basically shine in this format. It has some decent coverage, I want to say. Like, it doesn't have the best coverage, to be honest. It has a decent attack set as well, so you can run like physical attacks like U-turn, but the coverage is not that insane. It has like Ancient Power, Air Slash, Bug Blast, Giga Drain are like the most notable ones. And then slap a random hidden power on that, and you have your moveset. If you are Speed Boost, you of course want to protect as well. But either way, I like Yanmega a lot with the Speed Boost. People always have to look out for that. I was a big fan of my Speed Boost Blaziken in the ICBA Championship run. If you're not aware, I was in ICBA before and actually managed to win that league. And I had a Speed Boost Blaziken on that, which was not banned in addition to some other ones. But either way, I was a big fan of that, and I think Yanmega can form a similar role. Of course, not as good as Blaziken, because Blaziken has a bit higher attack and special attacks, or a higher attack stat, and a good special attack stat as well, and some more coverage. But the good thing with Yanmega is it's a bit speedier, so it's not reliant on Speed Boost to sweep some teams. Like with Tinted Lamp specs, I can clean up some teams as well. But yeah, Yanmega, once again, was more of a fun pick to just... Yeah, more of a fun pick. I want to have that Mon, and now I have it, and I'm happy to use it and see how well it does. So, next up, I had to get my tier 5 Mon and the tier 2 Mon, and I decided actually to get my tier 5 first, because just looking at the other guys, like only one guy was missing a tier 2, and there's only a very low chance that he would get the tier 2 I want, so I was more likely to get sniped on my tier 5 than my tier 2, so I decided to go with my tier 5 first. And for my tier 5, I wanted two things. I wanted the poison type, because my fairy resist so far is non-existent basically. Like my steel type is Cobalion, which is fighting type as well, so it doesn't resist fairy. I do not have a fire or poison type yet. And another thing I wanted in my next two picks is more hazards. So far I have two good Staff Rock and Cobalion Crocodile, but I only have Staff Rock, so I don't have access to like Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Sticky Web, all this good stuff. So I want to have some more hazard options, and I want to have a Fairy Resist, and that's in the lower tiers I decided to go with Garbodor, which of course is a Poison type, which is Fairy, and has access to Spikes and Toxic Spikes. It is a grounded Poison type itself, so I can remove Toxic Spikes just for setting this guy out, which is very awesome. And it has some nice utility moves stuff as well. With Aftermath and Rocky Helmet, it can get some damage on Mons. With a very nice defensive build of 80, 82, 82, it actually can take a lot of hits, or like a decent amount of hits from other Mons. Of course, it's the lowest tier Mon on my squad. I can't stand here, sit here and praise it all day. It is the least tiered Mon, so it's definitely not as good as Korean Black or something like that. But it fits the role it has to do, which is being a good fairy resist, getting some hazards on the field. Of course, Garbodor, I don't really know how to pronounce, but either way, it's of course not gonna be showing too many matches. But when it does, it's gonna do its job well. I believe in my little pile of trash right here. He might look like trash, but he ain't trash. I can show you that, but either way, that is Garbodor. Like, not too much to talk about that. It has Stench, Weak Armor. Weak Armor is like nice for like hazard stack, lead things. Stench doesn't really happen at all. And it has some nice offensive moves like Gunk Shot, of course, is the main stab moves. And you have Drain Punch, and you have Rock Blast, Seed Bomb. Some nice surprising, or not really surprising, but like good coverage overall. So that is cool. And of course, then more defensive stuff like Acid Spray, Clear Smog, and of course all the hazards I already mentioned. So let's go to my last pick, which is more of a fun one as well. I had multiple options there, and yeah, I decided to go with Gengar, because secondly, that's another poison type, so I have another fairy resist, which can kill, which is basically a good fairy killer, gives you some more speed, and I always want to use Gengar in draft format. It has insane coverage, very nice speed, very strong. It is a spin blocker as well, so together with hazard stacking, I finally managed to get a spin blocker as well. So I'm happy to use Gengar. It got like kind of a nerf, I want to say, with Cursed Body. Like some people argue Cursed Body is good as well, but I Levitate is arguably the better ability than Cursed Body. But it might come into play sometimes with some choice mons. But I'm looking forward to Gengar. It is a more fun choice, I want to say. Like there were more safe picks I want to make. But overall in this draft, like I said in the beginning, I was going for some more fun mons than safe mons. So that might bite me in the butt, and late in the season I might drop like some mons which I picked more for reasons that I want to use them than that they really fit in my team. I might drop them late in the season, but so far I'm very happy with this draft. I think still I have very nice very nice synergy in this draft. Not a Mon is not really fitting in there. All have their reasoning for being there, but of course some I picked for more fun reasons. So yeah, so I can see like the analysts not liking my draft too much, but I like my draft a lot. I'm looking forward to using a lot of these mons, and yeah, I hope you do as well. If you want to know, like basically in the comments, I want to see once again just tell me your opinion about the draft. What mons do you like a lot? What mons do you think will be the MVP? What do you think will be the the LVP, the least valuable player? The LVP, yeah, it's the LVP. And once, like always in a draft, tell me nicknames. Give me nickname suggestions. For some, I already have some. Like of course we have Cobalion, Mega Absol, and Shaman and Tornadus, which I already had in my GBA draft, so they have already their names set. But all the other mons have potential to be named after your suggestions, so yeah, please tell me your suggestions. Maybe it ends up like that, but yeah, that's all for my draft. Like I said, leave your opinions down in the comments. I want to know your thoughts, but either way, that is the Borussia Donphan going forward into this season of the GBA. Once again, of course, I am aiming for the championship. I know the last 2 seasons I didn't even manage to reach playoffs, so it might be a bit high, a bit high of a statement to claim the championship once again, but I'm not giving up. I think I have the potential to that. The past seasons in other leagues prove that in my opinion, and I'm once again aiming for that championship, and this is the season. I'm gonna tell you guys, we got a more fun draft. Maybe I had to switch it up that way, so yeah, that is all from me. If you're excited for this draft, for this season, and for the first match this Sunday, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, you know the deal. Hit me on Twitter and Facebook, all the links are in the description, and I will see you another time. Ciao.